Hello everyone, Zora's Workshop here. It's been a while since the last How Good Is video dropped, so we're back at it. Today we'll be taking a look at a widely unused card, Curious Brandybuck, and determine whether it's worth to take him out of your bin there. He costs 2, has 2 willpower, 2 HP, which are above average quester stats, and he reads. Forced, after the active location is explored, place Curious Brandybuck on the bottom of its owner's deck. And response, after you travel to a location, put Curious Brandybuck into play from your hand under any player's control. So, the second ability allows you to cheat him into play for free, and the first one takes him away after you explore a location. He doesn't really play into the Hobbit strategies, making his trade pretty irrelevant, with his only worthwhile strategy there being the Red Book of Westmarch. We don't want to count on never exploring locations, as it's pointless for such a small effect as Curious Brandybuck, and only may be worth it in Dunedain shenanigans with Path of Need, so we know he's going to be going away. When we realize that this guy is meant to help us explore a location and then disappear, we can stop seeing him as an unreliable ally and start seeing him for who he is. This guy is a disguised event. It's a 0 cost plus 2 willpower event, with some corner cases giving us +4 or +6 when we're losing hard against the scenario, and we're losing the quest phase. He also has the ability to stop an attack if we really want to, and actually allows us to play him under any player's control if we wish to simply champ block with him. Before we go to see the deck, which could warrant playing a 0 cost willpower boost with potential of being a champ blocker that will go back to the bottom of your deck, let's take a look at some chosen synergies with him. So first off, we have Master of the Forge, Bofur, and pretty much every repeatable card that searches your deck and then shuffles it. This is the easiest synergy in the world, but it might go overlooked. Pretty much anything that goes onto the bottom of your deck will stay there unless you shuffle the deck. And if you want to keep playing your Curious Brandybucks, just keep shuffling your deck and keep drawing more cards. And the second synergy is the Watchful Piece. It's not a very versatile card on its own, but if you want to keep getting locations to explore and play your Brandybucks and control the encounter deck a little bit, I guess ensuring the right draw from the encounter never hurts, especially in solo play. Then, guarded cards also can work fine with him if you're lacking locations. For example, Stone of LOTR will guarantee you one, and it's an extremely powerful card. And finally, we have cards like Prince Imrahil, Eomer, and Valiant Sacrifice, so Brandybuck can pretty reliably trigger the Leaf's play effects before the combat phase even begins, so while there's a plethora of ways right now to trigger those effects more easily, it could be a factor in Curious Brandybuck's inclusion in the deck. So, is he worth the hassle? To make him work, we'll need to ensure a stream of locations, preferably some shuffling, and very solid card draw. The thing with 0 cost cards is that even the smallest benefit can be powerful if you have enough cards to combine. If you manage to draw insane amounts of cards, if every small effect on a 0 cost card will bring you closer to victory, while resources remain limited, at least in most of decks. That's why this particular ally will work best with heroes like Arestor or Beravor, who just draw a lot of cards anyway. I struggled a lot with making a deck that justifies Curious Brandybuck's inclusion. Maybe you can find a place better than this one, but so far this is the deck in which I believe he has a place. At first I tried Arestor discard shenanigans, but I found there were sadly better cards for the deck that I was aiming at, and I got back to the drawing board, so I settled on Mono Tactics. They lack willpower a lot, and this particular deck can make a good use out of Curious Brandybucks as an extra copy of Feint as well. We have pretty standard Tactics Theoden setup here. It's a very straightforward deck. We just take care of the 3 basic tasks in the game and try to rush the quest before threat eats us. It doesn't really have incredible late game, actually I would risk saying it has pretty bad late game, but it shines the brightest in the mid game around turns 2 to 4, and Hama with Foe Hammer gives us some additional fuel, and Curious Brandybucks give us willpower bars we need to cruise to the end of the quest. So in testing it did pretty fine, even if it's far from being a tier 1 deck. And actually Curious Brandybuck, due to his unique role in the deck, he is both a free boost and a feint that doesn't cost us resources, so he doesn't feel like dead weight. Resource generation is very weak in the deck, amplifying the need to win early. We only have the Necklace of Girdan. But I really like the fact that you can attach 2 of the weapons to Legolas as well, making Swift and Strong work with him better than with other characters, so you can draw another card with him after he kills an enemy. And if you're interested in seeing how the deck plays out, look out for the gameplay section video tomorrow. But for now, let's move on to the verdict. So, what's the verdict on this guy? On the surface level, he's a coaster, but after some analysis, he's actually pretty versatile. His power level is pretty low, but because he can fit into a deck regardless of sphere restrictions, makes him a little cute card that can get you some advantage if you're needing some zero cost help. Not all decks have access to powerful resource generation, and in those decks you might be fine running him instead of another card you won't be able to pay for. He will never carry a deck on his own, or be an extremely crucial card, but for what he is, he's solid. It's just hard to find a slot for him in most top tier decks, but there are some constructions which could warrant him. He's a 3- on my scale. He's good enough not to drop to 2, but only very specific decks could want this guy. So unless you know what you're doing, he can probably stay in your bin there. So, thank you guys for watching this video. It feels good to make another one of those instead of those ambitious projects. Tomorrow I will be dropping part 2 of the video with the gameplay section, so stay safe guys, and I will see you in the next one.